Yo, this is SoulDrum86 bringing you another video. Wanted to do a NBA The Run related video. Now, I do still really enjoy this game. There's a lot to nitpick, and trust me, I've played. I actually recently bought NBA Street, the first one, and NBA Street Volume 2. That's coming soon, but I did already get NBA Street, and NBA Street. Oh my gosh, I mean, we already know how good two was, right? Two was a classic. The first one was ahead of its time as well, man. I mean, of course it was because that's why they made a volume two and three, and but NBA Street, oh my gosh, like I don't want to dwell on it too much, but yeah, it's not a far stretch to say that NBA Street plays still better than NBA The Run, but um, NBA The Run is a very fun game. I still think that there's some tweaks that need to happen. The dribbling with one hand is still a problem. They only switch it for a limited time, and it just yeah, like they'll do that, but they've gotta change up the dribbling. And I think the turbo meter runs out a little bit too quick, in my opinion. Maybe that's just me, but playing NBA Street and playing games like NBA Hang Time, NBA Jam, you had turbo meter for a little bit longer. And I think another thing that was different about those games that I do feel they should add in this is once you run out of turbo, yes, you should feel your character move slower because, of course, you're holding down turbo for a boost like this. But I still think they run a little bit too slow because when you do run out of the turbo during the game, like if I'm just by myself doing this, seems like the turbo lasts at a decent amount of time, but it does burn out really quick because they deplete turbo for everything that you do. So if you're on defense and you're swiping at the ball, you're losing uh, stamina. If you are pushing, which I never do because it's an awkward button, it's just a flick of the right stick. And if I'm pushing in a basketball game, I kind of want to hold turbo and press the steal button like how it used to be back in the day. That's how I want to like steal. So I never push in this game, but when I would, even if you don't make contact, you simply doing the animation for pushing depletes your turbo meter. So the turbo meter needs to last a little bit longer. And I think that the players need to run a little bit faster still when they are on turbo. And when they are pretty much, I feel like they should run faster than this, right? And then when the turbo meter runs out, it should almost be like this. They still run a little too slow. I'm glad that you at least feel the difference between turbo and not holding turbo, but yeah. Let's see. But what I wanted to talk about in this game, right? Because everything that I've mentioned kind of goes along with what I'm going to talk about. I'm not going to make this video too long. Um, Play by Play Studios has made some very interesting choices. And by interesting, you can almost say bad choices with this game. And I want to list them off, right? So there's an update coming on Tuesday. And it's adding three new players, it's adding some AI fixes and new game rule match. So the game rule that they're adding, it might be some other stuff that I'm missing too, because they did just kind of generalize that there's going to be some overall animation updates to players and stuff like that. But um, one of the rule thing that it's like Block City, or I might be butchering that. Anyways, there's going to be a blocking game set, like, you know, because it shuffles through what type of rules you're going to have, right? So there's certain games where threes are worth 3 points, but everything else is worth one, or alley oops are worth 3 points, dunks are worth 3 points. So this one is going to be where every time you block your opponent's shot, they're going to lose a point. It's going to deduct a point. So that's going to be one of the new rule sets. But before I get into the other update that I really want to talk about that they're adding into the game, I just want to point out a lot of the things that to me have been mishaps. And I understand some of them, but it still doesn't negate the fact that I think that they should have gone the other way. So First and foremost, this isn't your typical NBA game where every NBA team is represented, and it's a 3-on-3 basketball game. So you would think originally that they would have every single NBA team represented and choosing the three best players of that team. Instead, they opted for doing what, 30 some players, 32 players, to make them unique and to, really kind of make the players feel like the players, in which they do. I mean, they dribble like this moves like LeBron, and he shoots like LeBron and stuff like that. But and they have that for everybody. Everybody has a different shot animation. They have their signature dunks and whatnot. So that's cool and everything. But to me, it's better to at least do every NBA team, pick the three top players, and then you can, because it's a live service game, you can continue to add to those teams later on. So I think that was a mishap. I think that making the game online only to start with was a huge mishap, and you could see that from the community. I almost want to say it feels like overwhelmingly more of the community want an offline mode, even though they even might be happy with the online because they play online. Even those people still say that they should have, this should have been couch co-op. They should have had a campaign and solo. And I agree. I think that NBA The Run should have come out with an exhibition mode to play with a friend or by yourself, to where you can pick a game and you can even set the rules yourself, and you can pick whatever court you want to play on. And you can pick how many points it will take to win. Like, you actually get to set the parameters. They should have had that, right? So just a simple exhibition mode. And then, of course, your campaign mode. They should have had that from day one. I personally, if I couldn't do both, because the developer talked, one of the head developers, when he had an interview with Soft Drink TV, he said he didn't want to pretty much half-ass anything. He didn't want to have the offline and the online mode just be decent or mediocre. He wanted them both to be great. So they chose to opt in on focusing on the online play. And I get that, but for me personally, I think that they definitely should have opted to make it offline and make that great. And then you can even fluff up the content by adding in dunk contest and 3-point contest, especially dunk contest. For a game like this, I think that would be fun, because all over YouTubers like Chris Staples do dunk contests, at Venice Beach and stuff like that. So I think that dunk contest would have been an amazing feature for a game like this, especially because the dunk animations do look really, really good. It's just like NBA Street, where they're not really over exaggerated. They're not. The only time that they're really jumping really high in the air is when you're throwing an alley-oop to yourself, or when you're throwing a teammate an alley-oop. Other than that, the dunks are very realistic. They're not jumping extremely high. Like, look, like that's real. And when I was playing NBA Street, I noticed it was the same way for NBA Street. NBA Jam and Hang Time kind of made the whole like jumping way above the backboard type deal. So I definitely think that this game should have been offline first, add in the online portion later. I think people would have been okay with that. Let's see. In terms of decisions, I want to say that's probably the two main ones. Those are the two main ones. Not every team is represented, and then making the game an online only game. Everything else is kind of subjective, right? I mean, everything you can probably say is subjective, because there's going to be people that, think differently. But the other issue that I have, right, with one of the updates coming on Tuesday, is they're adding in 3 players, right? Great news. It should be. Probably for some it will be. But they're rookies. Not people that have played in the NBA before yet. They're going to be playing this upcoming season. And the season is still, ways away. And we are adding in rookies that haven't stepped on to the court of the teams that they've been drafted to. I'm not saying that you shouldn't add rookies into this game, That's ridiculous. That's nonsense. That's crazy talk. Add in them later. This is a live service game. You can add these guys in midway through the season, a quarter way through the season, whatever you want to do. I personally think that play-by-play studios should have opted to add in legendary players. Why? Because legendary players sell. Legendary players still, even to the young generation, draw numbers. There are young people out there that still talk about Kobe. They talk about Allen Iverson. They talk about Vince Carter, right? So these are household names. You know what I mean? Like I think that, and yes, even though those names that I mentioned cater more towards people my age, right? You know what I mean? Your mid to late 30s crowd and older, but still, those names, especially Kobe, resonate with fan base that are young, even if but I mean, when you think about it too, set aside that, I don't even know why I'm talking like that. This game technically in a lot of ways is designed for the people who missed NBA Street, who grew up with NBA Street. So you're really catering this game overall to the people who missed these games, and you're bringing it out for a new generation that has missed out on the arcade games. But because of the vast majority of the people playing NBA The Run, or at least wanted to even give it a shot, they're playing because they remember NBA Street. Well, you have to remember who was in NBA Street: Kobe, Allen Iverson, Shaq, Tracy McGrady, Vince Carter. You know what I mean? David Robinson, and just so many different players. And I think that they really could have gone that route. Jordan, you know what I mean? Like, I would love to see Jordan in this game. He most likely will be. Magic Johnson, Larry Bird. I would have opted to do my first two different choices I would have done, right? I would have made sure more teams were represented by adding in current guys that aren't in the game currently, right? So add in the modern players who aren't in the game currently, or add in the legends. They could have went both routes. They could have added in some players from the Atlanta Hawks, or a player from the Atlanta Hawks. Because remember, they don't have to, the way that they're going, they don't have to add in, and I don't think they're ever going to. They're not going to add in 3 or even 2 players from the same team. It's all going to be people from different teams. So why not have an Atlanta Hawks player from who's playing today, and then add in a Kobe Bryant, or an Allen Iverson, and then another maybe current player. You don't even have to double dip with the legends, but just to have a legend represented in the first 3. This is your first, pretty solid update in terms of like content drops, and you waste it, in my opinion, on unproven rookies, on rookies who could be a failure. You never know, even though they're good now in college, because they got drafted for a reason. We never know how they're going to turn out to be. So, yeah, I just personally think that they make some questionable decisions, and hopefully the decision making gets a little bit better from NBA The Run. Now, what they have planned, I do like the landscape of what they have coming out, next year and throughout the rest of the summer. I do like what they have planned. But they do make some questionable decisions. I wouldn't have gone with rookies first as my first 3 players updated into the game. That's just me. All in all, I do really, really enjoy this game. It is the one game currently that I enjoy playing outside of the racing games that I play on my PS5. Because other than that, I've been playing my PS2. But this is a game that I thoroughly, thoroughly enjoy. Anyways, man, this is your boy Soul Drum 86, and I'm out. Peace.